Good evening and welcome back here to the excellent Moscow Cup. We're going to have 3 games today. 3 best of 1 games. It's still in the round robin group stages. We're going to have 3 pretty important games though, because all of the top teams are playing today, and that means that we're first going to see Empire versus VirtusPro. Afterwards, we're going to see Roxkiss taking on Relax, and a Roxkiss will afterwards then face Empire. So, some amazing matches coming your way, starting off VirtusPro with versus Empire, so let's just get ourselves right into that one. And of course, also welcome to my co-caster, Jitvans. Welcome back.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I did remember to unmute my microphone.
Cool.
Did
you also remember to turn on your microphone in the game?
I did. I went
wow.
and did that beforehand. I know, it was very impressive.
Yeah.
It's like pretty unusual for me. But like you said, this day, pretty important day, because to be honest, some of these games could virtually decide who does go to the LAN finals.
Exactly.
I mean, we already know for one, MYM is definitely going. But other than that, it's still up in the air for pretty much all these teams.
Yeah, we have got to Relax. So far, of course, we're not seeing Relax right now, but of the teams playing today, Relax is actually highest together with VirtusPro. They've both played 7 games, 4 wins, 3 losses. So it's not ideal, it's not amazing. However, they still definitely have a chance to make it to the top 4. Empire has only played 4 matches so far out of the 10 that people need to play, that they need to play. And they've won 3 and lost 1, so there's definitely, they're on the right path. But they need to get some wins in this one. Relax, or rather Roxkiss, has only played 3 matches, 2 wins, 1 loss, so we can't really say too much about that today, just yet. But 2 matches today against 2 of the more tougher opponents to go up against. It is not something to be taking lightly, so I'm expecting some great games coming our way today. And VirtusPro, of course, they just came off a loss in the Summit qualifiers. Against Next KZ.
10 seconds remaining.
But I don't know. Somehow I feel confident that they can actually put up a better performance in this game. I don't know why. Maybe because I feel like they know Empire better.
Yeah, VirtusPro certainly have that bit more experience playing with Empire. It's one of those teams that you're constantly aiming to try and beat, because they're pretty much at the top of their game right now. Empire, of course, has been pretty dominant in the scene right now, but they've looked a little bit weaker over the past couple of weeks. They're still definitely, a world contender, though. And that means VirtusPro, they have a lot to go up against here. That said, the thing about VirtusPro is, I mean, I hate saying it, but sometimes they're awful. They really are. But other times, they can beat anybody in the world, because they really, if they're on form, they have beaten pretty much all of the top teams.
Yeah.
The problem is that they just... I mean, we even said before, they had some sort of midnight meeting with their managers recently. Things are not looking good for them, but, I mean, they're kind of looking like they're on track to get... Yeah, they're still together, and they're looking like they're on track to go to the finals. First pick Nega Siren here, no fun allowed. VirtusPro probably going to be putting that in the mid lane. Of course, the good thing about picking Nega Siren is that she can still do other roles. I mean, we've even, support Nega Siren is a bit older, but we've even seen offlane Nega Sirens, things like that, where it's just a team fight based hero. So a lot of different things that we can do here, but Team Empire playing, wow, they insta-pick Batrider and then the Dragon Knight, so this is pretty stable stuff for them.
Yeah, I can understand the Batrider first pick. I mean, that's a logical one. It was basically for VirtusPro, are they going to pick up Batrider, or are they going to pick up Naga Siren or Ancient Apparition? But Batrider is so fairly normal, but the Dragon Knight so early on, I have to say I'm quite surprised about that. Could be that they have something special in mind, or that they are aiming to make this game not be all that long if they want to start pushing from the moment that the Dragon Knight turns level 6. That is something that they could have in mind, but surprised to see him picked up this early. It's not something that we normally see.
Yeah, the thing about Dragon Knight is normally you pick him when you're kind of unsure about what you want to go with mid, and you're okay with kind of losing the lane. Now, the thing is, nobody completely crushes Naga Siren in the mid lane, because the fact is Naga Siren can just constantly bottle Crow, and if you do that, you can farm pretty easily with Riptide. You're going to get up a fast Radiance if you do go for that. Normally you have to get like one minor item beforehand. Some players will like drums, some like Arcane Boots, some like Aquila. Arcanes is more of a safe lane thing, but you get the idea. You need sort of one item, and then you just rush a Radiance. You bottle Crow pretty much continuously. So the only reason I can imagine Team Empire immediately pick up DK, names are confusing,
Yeah.
but they immediately pick up the Dragon Knight is they want to try and push really hard during the early mid game as soon as they can, because Dragon Knight, one of the best things that he is for is that he's great anti-push because of his Flame Breath, and he pushes very hard on towers, does a lot of damage to those towers, so I expect Empire to maybe go with some sort of very heavy push lineup here, but VirtusPro, they seem to be keeping their cards pretty close. They pick up the Centaur now, which is a pretty standard offlaner these days, very good initiator, but does need a Blink Dagger.
Yeah, a bit greedy in that regard. Normally when I see a Naga Siren picked up, I mean, you mentioned it, she wants to go for a fast Radiance, which is all fine. But does mean that there's a bit of extra pressure on the other heroes to make her able to do that. Normally you see that put in the support, so, you know, nothing is lost for VirtusPro just yet. But with the Centaur also being a fairly... how do I put this? Like, it's not a greedy offlaner / safe laner.
He's very passive, though, and he needs one item. That's the problem with him.
Unless you get a tiny. Or a
That's
IO.
a terrible plan. No, you can do stuff like that. It's certainly doable. You could do it with an IO on your team, as long as you combo it well with somebody else. But if you go IO, then you kind of are a bit greedy on levels. Yeah, I think it is problematic for VirtusPro to pick up the Centaur so early, especially into what Team Empire have already got. And the fact that they're running Naga Siren, like you said, they kind of need somebody to be able to create space from very early on in their team. So it is risky. The issue they might have is if Team Empire pick up supports who can zone out this Centaur to the point where he won't get any farm in the lane, he has to go jungle. And whilst we have seen jungle Centaur, it is not good. It is very, very bad. It is the absolute last port of call that you want to send yourself to. And he farms very slow. And often you need the Blink Dagger at sort of 12 minutes at the latest in some games. And Batrider's going to have his before then because we know Batrider, even if he loses the lane, he jungles very fast. You know, he can go in the off lane, he can go in the mid, he can go wherever he likes. He farms very fast indeed, so this is dangerous for VirtusPro. I'm interested in their supports, though, because I think that's going to be the critical thing for both teams here.
Oh, I definitely agree. Empire pick up another carry that is generally ready to start fighting fairly early on, Luna. They ban out 2 supports that VirtusPro likes, though, although we're going to see Wraith King picked up there by VirtusPro. I have to say, I like him. I'm thinking he's okay. He has actually played a support earlier today. And it's a decent hero to play support. I actually think it was VirtusPro that actually played him, but I'm not entirely sure anymore. It was against Relax that played an Axe. I will find out.
Yeah, I remember Relax's draft, but I'm not sure who the other team was against them. It might have been VirtusPro.
Yeah, it could be. But
yeah, either way, I think the supports is the most essential thing now. You see both teams have banned out a lot of supports, and I was just about to say it. Ancient Apparition is still in, and VirtusPro desperately need a hero like that. Because right now, this Dragon Knight Luna push, with a Vengeful Spirit as well, who can provide that aura, they can just kill all of your towers right now. I think VirtusPro, they might be looking to go for an aggressive tri-lane here, but it's going to depend on what support Empire gets last, because it could be very dangerous to do. Venge Luna is already a good combo. Great King AA is also a good combo. Sand King is not going to happen. That hero is banned.
Yes. And also
but that's what I'm saying, is a lot of hero supports are banned here. Like, there's not much in the way of options left.
I wouldn't mind seeing Wraith King being played as support. Now, we know that he has been played as a carry by VirtusPro as well before, so it could go either way. I wouldn't mind seeing him played as a support, though, as he is a fairly decent support. And we already mentioned there's a lot of pressure on the supports in this game for VirtusPro. Wraith King is one of those supports, and Ancient Apparition a little bit as well, I guess, that if he starts getting behind, he's going to be a bit more useless. But that means that there's all the more importance to get him going early on. And that's exactly what they need. They need to make some stuff happen early on. We still have an OD being removed by Empire, so they are debating with the options to indeed have Wraith King as support, Naga on the safe lane, Centaur on the off lane. I don't think they think it's a Naga support. That would be kind of weird.
Yeah.
But this...
I think Empire are a little bit confused by VirtusPro's draft, and that's because it's very unusual, to be honest, because Centaur, Wraith King, Naga Siren... It's pretty unusual to pick a Centaur and a Wraith King with a Naga Siren. Those 2 heroes... Centaur Wraith King is great, because it means that you can run people down with that Wraith King. One of the biggest issues that hero has is that he gets kited, and Stampede completely helps you with that, and Hoof Stomp as well, you can initiate, and then the Wraith King could just go to town, but the Naga Siren is the odd one out here, so VirtusPro, they have to do a lot of work to really help her in this game.
Yeah. Well, Empire, one more hero to go. They could go for something in the jungle. I mean, Vengeful Spirit is a fairly easy hero to roam with, and if you pair her up with an Enchantress or a Chen, and if you look at the pushing potential already on the side of Empire, I mean, that would just be scary. They go for a hero that is also
all the towers.
Yeah. I mean, it might not be a Chen or Enchantress, but definitely it's a strong roaming hero. If you combine him up with something like a Vengeful Spirit or like something with a stun, basically, Dragon Knight, you can even go on the lane by himself, but also a hero that can push towers so fast. This is very scary for VirtusPro because they want to be giving that Naga Siren time. And so far, their heroes might be all nice, but do they really have counter-push heroes apart from the Ancient Apparition once he gets level 6? No, unless you want to actually go into the fight or go into the, well, basically go into the wave as Centaur and basically put yourself on the front row.
It is a support Naga. Wow. I guess it has to be.
It has to be.
Because Illidan's going to be playing this Wraith King, so this is a bit unusual here, but Naga Siren AA, it is a very strong combo, because if you hit net on somebody, they are dead. Because Cold Feet is going to proc off that no matter what. And solo safe lane Clinks, it's a very nice matchup. One that can do well versus Batrider, but it could be mid Clinks. It could be either way for them. They might swap it up depending on what lanes they think Team Empire are going to go for. But this is an unusual draft for VP, and I feel like that suits VP a lot more because the thing is, if you're an unpredictable, unreliable team, you may as well pick, unpredictable, unreliable lineups, right? Because picking standard, picking safe, going for the same sort of stuff that everybody else is going to do, the chances are you're going to make some sort of coordination mistake or something, but this can throw off the enemy's strategy. Although, that said, the enemy's strategy here is pretty plain and simple. It's kill all your towers. Because the only hero on their team who's not great for that is Batrider, and he's a good initiator, so that always supports a tower push lineup. But yeah. Anyway, do you want to go through one of the lineups now?
Let's do that. I'll go for Empire, as we already pointed out that the Batrider will be on the top lane. He is played by Mag, no surprise there. It's I wouldn't say one of his signature heroes because basically then I would classify Batrider as everybody's offlane signature heroes. But it's a good hero of his, so that's no surprise. Resolution will play the Dragon Knight. On the bottom lane, we've got a safe trial lane, all supporting Silence on his Luna. And it is Vanscore who'll be playing the Vengeful Spirit, a hero that he said he wanted to play more. I guess he finally got his wish and always want to fly. Playing the Leshrac. And already sitting next to an Observer Ward of VirtusPro, who were in the jungle early to place that. And Horsey, what are you doing? Oh, he's carrying the boots so that the block can be easier for Arsart.
Yeah, speaking of Arsart here, he's going for very fast Tranquil Boots, I assume here, because he's been pulled 2 tangos. Like you said, he's got his boots on the Courier. This makes it easier to block, because otherwise you're actually too fast to block the off-lane creeps now, because they're so slow. In the mid lane, it's going to be G. He's going to be on the Clinks. On the safe lane, it's going to be NS on the support Ancient Apparition. Jotum is going to be on the Naga Siren, and of course Illidan is going to be on that Wraith King there. And it looks like it's just going to be a safe tri-lane for them. I mean, I guess it's probably just more risky for them to run the aggressive tri-lane, but I really feel like it would be great for them to put Clinks versus this Batrider in a 1v1. It is a very dangerous match, however, but G is one of those who generally dominates pretty much every matchup that goes in.
Arsart on the bottom lane is in some trouble. Where's the damage? There it is. First blood on the board. Always Wanna Fly takes it. Invisibility rune from Vanscore. In the meantime, we missed the kill on top because VirtusPro only a second too late to get the first blood on the board for themselves. Ancient Apparition gets the killing blow for the Batrider, but I guess we can understand what happened here. You've got 2 disables and the Cold Feet. Basically, you got 3 disables. So.
Yeah, both these teams have a lot of the very dangerous tri-lanes to even approach. And both these offlaners, neither of them are, say, like a Clockwork or a Bounty Hunter, where they have other ways of affecting the creeps. For instance, with the Clockwork, you can block them off, or, with a Bounty Hunter, you can just hide in the trees, you can be, stealthy. These heroes, both of them just have to walk into the lane. So it's very difficult for them because these tri-lanes will kill you. Yeah. Either of these tri-lanes are very, very dangerous here. The bottom lane one, of course, they have that Luna aura. They have 2 stuns as well, and a little bit of extra damage coming out from that Lucent Beam. And then on the top lane, 3 disables for them and a fair amount of magic damage to come up as well, even minus armor from Jotum. So this is very dangerous here for both teams, and both teams' carries should be pretty much free farm, I think.
No, our start actually picks up a haste rune. He's on his way mid. There is a ward from Empire that should have picked this up, so I don't think Resolution will be dying, but he will get a bit of rest in terms of might not be as comfortable moving out. Looks like Arsart is just not even gonna try. He's just running past, passing through. Scenic route for this Centaur. He couldn't do anything on the bottom lane anyway, I guess, so oh well. That's a nice tour
he's
for
having
him.
the deliberation right now, because generally you want to try and do 3 things in Dota. You want to either farm, you want to kill towers, or you want to kill heroes, and right now he doesn't have the option of doing any. And he might even have to just disappear into the jungle. I already said how much of a big issue that is. Centaur is not a good jungle hero, but what other option does he have right now? I mean, he can't approach the lane. He'll just die. He already died once. The same can be said of the Batrider, but the thing is Batrider is a much better farmer, so already he's just stacking up Ancients. He's doing things for his team that Centaur just not doing right now, so it feels like me, like VP maybe getting the worst of things. At the very least, though, they do have G in the middle lane, who's pretty much free farming here, and their Wraith King as well is free farming. But farm is pretty even as far as cause is concerned.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon Knight is even not that far behind on the Clinks, to be honest. Only 2 last hits, and I would expect him to actually be further behind than he would be. We have always want to fly. Yeah, they know where he went. They know where he went.
Yeah, this is just how bad it is as a Centaur. He has to actually do this. He has no other choice right then than to do that, and yeah, look how scared he is. Even if he approaches this creep wave to try and get in XP range, like he's just on the edge of XP range here, and this is the best thing he can do.
Yeah, there's an edict already used, so the fortification is on cooldown. That means if this creep wave dies, tower will probably die as well, as there's a new creep wave coming in for Empire, so that will be a very fast tower, which is not only good for that bottom lane, of course, as Luna will probably get the last hit for that. But it's also amazing for the Dragon Knight, because, you know, he wants to start doing things at level 6, as nobody gets the last hit there, by the way. But now he'll actually also have items at level 6, so let the pushing continue, I want to say. Well, actually, I wanted to say begin, but, you know, it's already begun.
Yeah,
so
it's already
happened.
Yeah, it's already happened, and now maybe the Centaur will get a little bit more XP, but he's already been shut down to a sufficient extent. This is 4 minutes in, and he's got 1 CS. So he's basically not going to have that fast blink dagger he has. The saving grace for me is going to be G, because G, nobody's ganking him, nobody's really stopping him from farming, and a Clinks is a very dangerous hero to go up against, especially if you have underfarmed and underleveled supports. Both their cores, of course, Resolution as well as the Luna, which is silent, they're going to get BKBs, so G won't be able to affect them that much because he won't get a fast Orchid. His Orchid won't be able to be used against that. If he does go Orchid, we have seen other builds, but if he can find either of the supports, they'll die pretty much instantly to him, so he's going to be very dangerous, and I think the reason he's not denying as much why the Dragon Knight's actually doing a little bit better in this lane than you might think is because one thing about Clinks is that his basic auto attack damage is awful, but he requires Searing Arrows to basically do very much, and wow, Wraith King on the bottom lane, or top lane, just diving, and...
Oh, what? Diving for the mag?
Yeah, he dived really far, but they just took out the tower in the end, and yeah, Mag is suffering pretty much the same way that Centaur is. He's doing only slightly better, so right now, perhaps VP slightly behind, but it's overall pretty even, and no team's really going for major kills yet, which surprises me given the supports both teams have.
Yeah, I was expecting a bit more heavy roaming, especially coming out from Empire because of that Vengeful Spirit pick. He does sit on some dust though, so looking for a kill on G if he ever gets to be out of position, which for now is not going to happen. Vanskir's trying to hide, the creep wave hasn't scouted him out just yet, but then again, there's people missing from the map. It's kind of obvious for anybody right now, as we have nobody left for VirtusPro rather on the bottom lane. It's just Silent here. And Silent could actually start pushing quite nicely if he finds out that there, for example, is a fight being started here on mid lane, where now 4 heroes of VirtusPro are hanging around. We have Naga Siren here as well, level 3 still, so nothing really that can help out. I'm talking about a song, for example, to initiate, but we'll see as they go with 3? No, it's just G wanted to eat a creep, I guess. He already ate a creep. Is he actually gonna farm?
Yeah, not sure what the plan there is. He's just gonna go and farm for the moment. I guess he's just a little bit worried about the initiation that they have. They don't know about how the Batrider's doing. I mean, he's not close to his blink yet, but he's getting it up fairly fast. And to be honest, I'd be fairly worried if I was VP right now, because the fact is they're just that little bit more efficient on the map right now. The only thing that I think is their big saving grace is that Illidan has picked up this fast Midas, so he's going to be farming up at pretty much the same rate that Luna is. The difference is the Luna has to go for an early BKB. She's very squishy. Wraith King can, but he doesn't need to.
Always want to fly. He missed his stun. Now he's gonna get stunned in return and ensnared and killed by G. That was a bit of a mistiming for him on his split earth to try and get the one that was teleporting in. And actually, Resolution might be in some trouble as well. Where is his backup? He's taking a ton of damage.
Up in a second.
Yeah, Resolution. He's trying to run. Looks like he'll be able to. In comes a stun coming out from Vanscore just to harass Vanscore, or jot him away rather. They saved the Dragonite, but that was a bit too close for my liking. VirtusPro, they save their tower, they get a kill, and don't really lose anything in return.
Yeah, and interesting from Always Want to Fly, because to be honest, I feel like when you have a Vengeful Spirit on your team, and a DK as well, why would you go in for the stun without somebody else having set it up for you?
Oh, he was trying to do some damage to the towers, so he was there anyway, and he was gonna run. If he didn't try, then he'd die.
Okay, but even so, maybe just a bit out of position there, so yeah, he goes down. VP are getting a little bit more, and with that, they actually pick up their second Midas now. There's now a Midas on the Clinks as well, so I guess their decision is if you aren't going to push down all our towers now, which they've only pushed down one tower so far, surprisingly enough, and if you're going to screw our Centaur over to the point where we can't initiate,
talking about Centaur, he's in a lot of trouble. It looks like he'll go down as well. A couple of hits needed, and he'll die indeed. Batrider with the flames getting the last hit, and he was starting to get so close to his Blink Dagger, or at least, actually, he only lost about 100 gold.
Yeah, he's basically worth no money right now, so he doesn't even lose that much. He's only level 5, and for an offlaner, this is pretty difficult. Batrider, 3 levels above him, does have his Blink Dagger now, and the first use of it gets a kill on that Centaur. But that said, Empire, in the meantime, they'll free farm, and they're free farming on a Wraith King and a Clinks, which are not bad heroes to free farm by any stretch of the imagination. Clinks, in particular, is a sort of underrated hero, very rarely picked up, just because he's dangerous to run. He's difficult to play as well. A lot of players just simply don't practice the hero and just can't play it, basically. It's a sort of professional game. So those that do it are pretty highly valued, and well, apparently G is going to be one of them, but mid lane push going on now.
Yeah, they're actually making a Resolution be bait. Sentry Ward gets placed as well. Just illusion so far. Teleporting coming from the Wraith King. They want to try and go on Resolution, but in comes the backup. Or the deny. That's a deny right there. Resolution, he needed one more hit, couldn't get it out, and tower goes down to the Wraith King. So VirtusPro, they still lose their tower, fair enough, but at least damage control being used, and of course, making Empire with 4 heroes sit behind that Dragonite, not able to do anything at all. Wasted time for them, so double win for VirtusPro.
Yeah, it's almost a little bit unusual here, because VirtusPro, they don't look like the normal VirtusPro right now, because they're very controlled. They're very almost laid back in how they're playing, but the thing is they're very efficient. They've had people constantly out farming on the map, and on the side of Empire, they've not had that, and Always Want to Fly. G was trying to go from there, but the AAL maybe landed a little bit early, and yeah, he couldn't get the opportunity to. He didn't have much mana either as well, so wouldn't have been able to strafe. It's a difficult kill to go for, but more than anything, it probably just annoy Always Want to Fly.
Yeah, it makes him be a bit more careful perhaps as well. Although right now he's continuing to last it again. I do like that they do this because you already mentioned earlier the supports were on their level. The Always Want to Fly is no exception. He is, I mean, he's got level 3 edict. It's fine. He can do work without being very high level. But later on in the game, you want to have those levels. So he's getting some free farm right now as we have a smoke up from Vanscore.
And Dragonite has an Invis rune and is scouting out G and NS right now. They know G doesn't have any mana as well. This is going to be a free kill on at least one of them if they stay here.
Oh, the dust goes out. Where's that stun? It actually goes up on NS. They have to let G go. I mean, it's great that they get that kill, don't get me wrong, but I feel like they should have...
wanted both.
Yeah, I feel like they should have at least prioritized the Clinks.
They did try to with the blink Batrider, but I think it was just slightly off the mark. And of course, Flaming Lasso, very short range, basically lower than melee range. So difficult one to get off if you don't blink exactly on your target. So yeah, G manages to get out of there, but in the meantime, again, VirtusPro are just dodging fights right now. They're going to lose a third tower, but nobody's even bothered about trying to get it. They're just trying to get up these core items, and I mean G and the Wraith King, they've got their Midases as well. So I'm interested to see where they'll go next with their items, or whether they're trying to really take this to late game. But mid lane,
they want to go for Resolution indeed. Double stuns coming out, double edge as well. Oh, Silent though, blowing up some people here. Nice swap through the high ground. Resolution, he'll live. Song comes out, maybe allowing Illidan to escape, or do they still want to have Resolution? It might be a bit too greedy of them. They are outnumbered, or are they really? Dragon Tail coming out for Illidan first. Split Earth to follow up. He is in trouble. Lasso at the same time, making sure that Illidan does not get back up, although he still gets the kill on the Dragon Knight. NS trying to run from this one together with Jotum, but they're out of mana and they're getting stunned and killed. Just one Naga Siren left to go. Can they take him down as well? I think they should be able to. The Firefly ends, but that means that the block is gonna start. Lucent Beam, another stun, and bye to Jotum. 4-4-1. The answer that Empire gives to a gank like that is just very frustrating for VirtusPro, I can imagine.
It's got to be as well, because VirtusPro, they've bided their time, they've let them get a lot, and they finally go greedy, they finally go for a kill. It's a difficult kill. It's a Dragon Knight with a Drum of Endurance and an Ogre Club, so he's not easy to kill. He's got a lot of HP and armor.
Die, though. Boom! Sniped!
Oh, brilliant play from the AA there, but yeah, like you said in that last gank, Silent turned up at exactly the perfect time, pulled down the Eclipse, and there was nothing Klinks could do, because he doesn't have that mana, he doesn't have the Orchid, and he dies out then from that, and
actually that means that was a
big turnaround for them. Yeah, a full team
was already back up
a big
again.
turnaround by Empire.
Only level 10. And I mean,
well, looks like they're going to get Resolution again though here.
Oh,
they are really focusing on this weird Dragon Knight.
And then a Snare Dragon. He's trying to run for it. Aeod will not hit on him, and he's actually making it to the tier 1, and
so
that is going to be
yeah. He's got 1500 health and 20 armor.
And in comes Mag, jumping forward, grabbing G. The vision is there as well as a Dragon Tail. He is still dusted up. He will be disappearing soon, and it looks like they don't really want to try and force anything else out. Too many people around here, so G lives, but so does Resolution, and it started all because Resolution was the target of VirtusPro. And I mean, it's okay if a hero dies to try and kill him, but it can't be the Wraith King at this point. I mean, he's got nothing. He's sitting on 1800 gold, probably wants to get a Blink Dagger up next.
I think he's actually going for a Blade Mail drum build here, which is another fairly common sort of Wraith King build right now. I kind of definitely agree that a Blink would be nice, but it feels like they don't have very much damage right now. G hasn't gone for that Orchid, there's no major damage item up on anybody else, and of course, they've only just got their Initiator in the Blink Centaur, so I think they're going to rely entirely upon Arsart here to actually just initiate for them, but that's a dangerous thing to do. The problem is right now is they keep on going on G, who is literally unkillable. He has 20 armor and 1500 HP right now, so damage is not enough, but they're going to go on Silent on the top lane here.
Yep, and that's a kill. Nicely done.
He's a lot easier to kill. And that is the sort of person they need to be focusing down right now, because ultimately, every time you get a kill on Luna, it means a lot more. She farms a lot faster, she does a lot more with the farm. Dragon Knight, not a fast farmer. He's a relatively okay farmer, but even then, he doesn't really turn into a super late game carry. Not at least how professional players generally like to use the hero, but NS might be caught out here. Resolution's going on him, and he looks pretty dead. He
does look pretty dead. There he goes. Nice pick off there as, well, did not get the counter ward out, so that's a bit of a shame. Luckily, he'll be able to come back unless it gets counter warded in return, which it probably will be. Yeah, Fenscore is carrying a ward as well. So that's gonna go down. To be honest, I'm a bit worried for VirtusPro. Regardless, I mean, the killing of Luna, if they can do it a couple more times, she is the highest level hero on the map, so they do get some extra levels from that. That's great. But if we look at this lineup and we think like 40 minutes into the game, it's still going to be Empire that I would put in favor of this match.
I think it's pretty close. The nice thing is that VP will have Song of the Siren, so even if a fight is going bad, they can possibly stop it. And it means as well that they have a BKB counter, because then they can just use the Song of the Siren when the BKBs come off and then fight them there. But the real problem is do you think Empire will let them get to 40 minutes? Because right now they don't look like they care. They just went for another tier 2 tower, and they're getting a lot of extra kills right now. That said, I mean, they're not doing that badly as far as net worth on their core heroes is concerned. I would have expected them to be a little bit further behind, to be honest, especially because Silent is going a greedy farming build here.
Yeah, I think it could work out though. 3,200 gold. He's gonna finish up his Manta style if he wants to. He could already.
He could build a full BKB second, which is probably a bit more common, or he could just get the Manta style. Either way, he'll be exceptionally difficult to deal with at this stage. And yeah, it is the Blade Mail from the Wraith King there, which is a nice item versus Luna, and might mean that this Luna does have to go for a BKB right now. Because if you Eclipse at the wrong time and 4 Lucent Beams hit a Wraith King, you kill yourself. And the Wraith King doesn't care, because he comes back.
BKB seems likely for Luna at this point, and she only needs a couple hundred gold, so that's fine. Talking about a couple hundred gold, I actually think like entire Empire could get that from Roshan as well. They've got a pretty decent lineup to do Roshan. They've got nice auras for the extra damage. They've got the minus armor from the Wave of Terror. The only thing they don't have is Dire Side. Oh, wow. Yeah. Nice reaction time from Mag, jumping away just in time. But being
Empire
Radiant,
are just a hard kind of team to go through.
Yeah, they are. But being Radiant side, I think Empire
all their players are just so good. It really does feel like they're always playing on 100%. But yeah, it silently is going to rush this BKB up. He'll have it in just one more creep blast hit now. So yeah, they'll be ready to fight then. The thing for me is how these supports are doing, because whilst VP's carries are behind, they do have the Midas on both of them. They also arguably don't need quite as much farm on either of them as the Luna does. I mean, the Luna doesn't do as much right now as perhaps the Wraith King or the Clinks could actually do in a fight. And Clinks is going to have his Orchid fairly soon. It's a bit late, and that makes me question him getting the Midas, but he will. It does give him guaranteed farm, and that's something that Clinks doesn't always get. He's normally very mid-game centric in that he has to do well in the mid-game, or he doesn't do anything late-game. So this is an interesting game, but Empire are just sort of sitting back at the moment, and so are VP. It's like both teams are confident in their own plan, but I'm just waiting for both these teams to actually unfold their plan and show us what they're going to do, because right now neither of them are really going at it for anything, and now it is the Blink on the Wraith King as a second item here, so heavy initiation for them. They're relying on G to do a lot of their damage here.
Yeah, to do all of their damage here, I would even say for the moment. I mean, Wraith King, he's great and all that, but in terms of damage, it's going to be tough. It looks like they do want to try to initiate, though. Both Arsart and VirtusPro, they can jump in. They're going to go. Always want to fly. Aeol's going to fly in as well. Nice swap, though. Vanskor giving his life for his teammate. He will go down. Split Earth coming out up on the Wraith King. And they're going to kill him, which is not that great. In comes Mag, though. Maybe helping out. Grabs himself Naga Siren. Getting slowed because of the reincarnation, and in comes Illidan again, looking for target, but Silent with his BKB. This song doesn't matter whatsoever. He's already got a triple kill. He almost gets an ultra kill, but Naga gets herself out. Silent coming in with that BKB, completely turned that fight around. Nicely done for Empire.
And every time Silent turns up to these fights, he turns up at exactly the right moment, where VP have already fully initiated, they've already fully committed to the fight. The Clinks doesn't have a cooldown on his Skeleton Walk, so he can't get out of there. Silent turns up every single time and gets an Eclipse, and this is a lane of Rax. This is just a lane of Rax that they lose right now, because the fact is, they're going up... Empire, they have a very strong push lineup, and there they go, and now initiation from Arsart. This is very dangerous.
Yeah, he's actually going to drop with one more hit. The Bouncing Blades actually get it. And Ness, low as well, but gonna live for the moment. But that's...
They're fighting without their Clinks and their Wraith King.
20 minutes in, first lane of Rex down, and only now does Clinks get his Orchid. I'm not sure how much he can still do to stop this onslaught from going through. Empire, they only need one more outer tower, and I mean, they didn't even have a Roshan in this fight. VirtusPro at this point cannot take Roshan unless they sneak it in, unless they try to give something in return for it and have some nice mind games going on. So I'm going to assume for the moment that Empire will be the one to get the Roshan if there's going to be a fight around Roshan, or if there's going to be a Roshan at all, which looks to be their goal right now, maybe. But if they have the Roshan...
I think VP are going to have to try for this fight right now, because Eclipse is still off cooldown.
Look at how fast this goes.
They probably won't. Yeah, it's
This is too late for
this
them.
is so dangerous. G is probably just going to try and backdoor that. Yeah, he's backdooring the tower mid, get themselves some extra gold, get them just as many items as they can have right now, and get back to base to defend. And Aegis of the Immortal Noah's even picking it up right now. It's going to go on the DK, so Resolution, literally unkillable, and has a second life anyway. So he's pretty dangerous.
Oh, Mag is already in there. He grabbed our start of damage. Is it enough? Silent trying to do it, but can't really get anywhere. Has to back off from Illidan, but Illidan... Yeah, a reincarnation, 20-second cooldown, no Wraith King for 50 seconds. He does have buyback though. I think he's gonna get forced to use it.
Because he's got no items.
He's level 13.
He's so low level.
Yep.
Costs 600 gold.
Resolution, looking for an S. Maybe find.
They have to buy back. They can't afford to lose a second Rex.
They're gonna be able to kill off the Aegis anyways. And now no Dragon Form for the Dragon Knight. He does have his BKB, but the Dragon Form will not be there.
The Rex is dead though.
The Rex are dead.
I
The
think
Resolution.
they just gave up.
Resolution just bought time for his team to get the entire Rex. This is only 22 minutes into the game. It's looking like item-wise even as if it's way later. This is insane. One lane of Rex left.
VirtusPro's plan here? They just let them have the Rex there. They'll finally glyph. They have everybody up in 3 seconds. The Wraith King will have his reincarnation up. They have to have an absolutely perfect fight here to have any hope. And even then, they have to play brilliantly for the next 3 fights.
Oh, they're gonna try right now though. Song coming out, but the BKBs are still going. Illidan, trouble. His reincarnation at least this time is up. Centaur is already dead before though. Silent is actually gonna die. One more hit needed. He tries to run. There he goes. Illidan gets it. Nice blade mill as well, but it won't stop Mag from killing him. Won't stop Dragon Knight from trying to do some damage. The GG comes out. It's 4 dead again. And only Luna was the one they got in return. And that is going to be our first game of the night. Very convincing for Empire. And making me look even more forward to the last game of the night where we see Empire again. And they then go up against Rock's Kiss. First though, we're going to see Rock's Kiss taking on another opponent. Relax, you're doing fine is going to be their game for the second game here for the Excellent Moscow Cup. What a fast game this was.
Yeah, definitely a very fast game, and things were fairly even for most of the game. Maybe Farm was slightly in favor of Empire because of the Batrider doing better than the Centaur, but that was pretty much it. And then the one fight, they went on Resolution, the tankiest hero in the entire game. He had 1500 HP and 20 armor, and they didn't cut through him quick enough. Luna comes in, wins that fight, and from that point on, VP just looked crushed.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they went for one kill, because until that point they hadn't really been trying to kill anyone. They went for one kill, got beat in a fight, got completely trounced, and then from that point on, Empire just killed every tower with their lineup. I mean, DK, Venge, Luna, Lesh, that just kills your whole base in just a few seconds. I mean, we saw how quickly they killed the Rax when VP didn't have everybody up. VP looked like they didn't know how to react because the Rax were just dead in seconds.
It's difficult to deal with so much push if you don't have solid anti-push early on in the game, which is definitely something they lacked. We're gonna see Rock's Kiss though up against Relax, so stick around, we'll be right back. Next game starting in about 20 minutes, so we have got a little bit of a break, but we should be back here shortly with that second game for you. Don't go anywhere because it should be a really great match, at least a lot more even than this one apparently was, so don't go anywhere.